Here we have Tara's breaststroke. I know we kind of worked on Tuesday with doing back weight starts and front weighted. It's one of those, as you kind of progress a little bit more, you're going to have to kind of pay attention to whether you're utilizing your arms or not. Right now, as we look at your start through here, as well as what I remember seeing on that Tuesday start session, you don't typically tend to use your arms, so that would then lead me to put you into that front weighted start. So with that, you'd end up wanting to lean a little bit further out in front of the blocking and have that weight set a little bit more forward. If you can't get to the point where you can get your use of your arms to help get you going forward, then we're going to be able to go into that back weighted or that catapult style start. As you go through, you always do tend to bury that head. Make sure that chin gets up a little bit more so you don't have all of that space right through there just resisting on the water in front. Make sure that chin gets up so that you can keep that good streamlined position. As you're coming through, you do tend to come up pretty dramatically. We'll be able to see that a lot better on the underwater angle, and then coming up maybe a little quicker than what I'd like to see. As we see you kind of go through here, your eyes are looking up and then they're dropping down. I would like to see you actually focus a little bit more down instead of as much forward. That way we're going to be able to get you out in a much better streamlined position. I do like the timing that you have going on right now through that. As we go through that turn, you are turning your head to the left or pulling it to the left, and so that's making you do more of a circle swimming style turn. Want to make sure as soon as you hit this point in time, drive your knees straight up underneath you, and it's going to be more like doing a backwards flip turn. You're going to end up going pretty much straight back with those shoulders and your head. You're going to drive those knees up underneath you. Your knee drive underneath you should really be what's flipping you from being onto your stomach to on your back. The one thing we want to make sure you do is just before your feet are starting to get onto that wall, really put a lot more pressure onto that left arm, since that is the one you pull off the wall first. That's going to help rotate those shoulders around, which in turn will end up pulling your feet up and then planting them on the wall at an angle so you can push off on your side. Getting that pull and that kick in there, want to make sure that we are trying to get out just a little bit further. Hopefully with changing your turn, we might be able to see you get a lot further out of that. Big thing we want to do is really kind of work on getting a lot more power out of that kick, so then you can actually cut down the number of strokes you're taking. Timing worked out just perfectly right there for the finish. Make sure as you start to adjust things, whether it's adjusting your stroke, getting a little bit stronger, adjusting that kick, you end up throwing off that timing just a little bit, so you might have to adjust that. But then it might even throw off the timing going into that finish, so you're going to want to make sure that anytime you're out past the flags, coming in for a turn or coming in for a finish on breaststroke, that you really start to try and adjust your stroke at that point in time if you feel like you need to. You'll be able to kind of notice that as you get a little more breaststroke training in you, as to whether you're going to need to finish a little bit longer on a couple of strokes prior to that last stroke. But finish right now is absolutely spot on. Nice job, Tara. Here is Tara's breaststroke. See her coming in. Getting pretty deep, so make sure as soon as those hands hit the water right at this point in time, we're working on trying to shoot them straight forward to the wall out in front. That way we don't end up going as deep, and then as you go through this pole, we're not having to come up as steep, even though you do tend to balance out after a while. The other thing is we're going to be able to keep those eyes focused on the bottom of the pool. That way you're not having to come up nearly as much, and that doesn't drop those hips down. As we go through, we're able to see that you are kind of kicking right there at the surface. So we're going to want to be able to adjust that kick so that your feet are staying a little bit lower in the water. As we go through this turn, really remember, drive those knees straight up underneath you. This way you get that backwards flip turn going on, and then pull back with the bow and arrow to get that left shoulder turned around. As we see coming off the wall, got a really steep angle. Got to make sure we're getting those feet planted a little bit lower so that you are going a little bit straighter in a line. As we see those eyes going forward a little bit as you're coming up to breathe, make sure you're keeping those eyes down. The other thing is you are pulling those elbows back pretty far. We're getting them right back into there. Make sure you are thinking about trying to keep those elbows out in front of you a little bit more, almost as if they're going to be right underneath that shoulder. They can be a little bit behind, but not by much. that hopefully will allow you to pop yourself up to breathe with a little bit more ease than what you're currently doing. As we see you going for the finish, timing worked out spectacularly so that you ended up with a lot of force going into that finish. Nice job, Tara.